Oh. Good evening, Melrosians the world over. I'm Tom Catalini.
I'm Jen LeClaire.
And I'm Lauren Grimick.
And this is Let's Talk Melrose. Melrose, a show where Melrosians talk to Melrosians about Melrose, and that about says it all. Lauren Grimick, Executive Director of the Melrose Chamber of Commerce and show host of Chamber Chat, and among the many other things, welcome to the show.
Thank you guys for having me. I love to be here. Big fan.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, Lauren was telling us before we started that you're a podcast. You're one of our podcast listeners.
Yep, I am. I listen usually the day after. So doing this live is exciting for me. So I'm going to listen tomorrow too.
That's a good point. I guess we haven't promoted that enough, but the audio of this is available on iTunes and all the podcast platforms, usually the same night. So by the next day, you can pick it up. And Lauren, have you gone on and given us an objective 5-star rating yet?
That is on my list. I'm definitely going to do that.
That would be a good thing to do tomorrow, as soon as you listen to the show, maybe before you listen to the show. And we'd like everybody to tune into that. We're also live on MMTV right now. We're on Twitter for folks following us over there. We're on the YouTube and, of course, Facebook. So we just like to try and make it as convenient for Melrosians to get in touch as possible.
And also, we're using something called StreamYard now. So if you're watching, our viewers are able to let us know where you're watching from. You're able to ask us a question. Our producers will try to get some of them up on the ticker tape or whatever, so that we can answer you. We can chat with you. So we try to make it as interactive as possible. We like to know where everybody's watching from all over Melrose. That's the idea. This is like chatting on the porch about kind of whatever's happening in Melrose. So obviously the big thing that's coming up this week is Thanksgiving. Different kind of more subdued plans this year. What are you guys doing to stay safe while still stuffing your face? That's my plan for this week.
Well, we've typically, would be our 8th Thanksgiving in Melrose, and every year we've usually had 25 to 30 people, which we are not doing, of course. Yeah. So it's just me, Greg, and the kids, and we ordered our meal from the Rising Eagle. So I'm not even cooking.
Oh, nice. So, that's cool.
Yeah. So what about you guys?
So I am, sorry, I figured since you were the question poser, I should be one of the answerers.
Yes, go ahead. Yes.
Just the 5 of us staying home. We usually go over to my brother's place out in Pepperell, and about 20 of us get together there. And it's so much fun to get together for a lot of reasons, not to mention selfishly, we just prepare one side dish or something like that and bring it over. So I am going to be cooking the turkey this year and getting some tips from some friends who know how to do that. And I think it'll be fun. So I'm going into it with a positive attitude. We're going to do, we got all day. So we're going to make the turkey and all the fixings and all of that. In my neighborhood, there's also a little 5K Friendsgiving run that happens every year. Cool. So we kick that off at 8:30, rain or shine, and everybody, it's virtual again this year. So instead of gathering, we had a bunch of people. I live near the Lincoln School, a bunch of people down there last year to really kick it off. And I'm going to say between 50 or 60 people. So it'll all be virtual this year. Everybody run on their own. So I think it's still going to be fun. It's not going to be the same, but it's going to be fun. What about you, Jen? What are you doing?
Well, the virtual 5K is good for me because I can just tell you guys that I ran, right? I've been doing a lot of virtual 5Ks this year. It's been really amazing. This is the way to go for me. No, same thing. We usually would have my whole family. This year we're just having the 4 of my immediate family. My parents are coming over, but we all agreed to kind of get the COVID tests ahead of time and all that kind of stuff. So we are clear, and it will just be the 6 of us cooking a smaller meal, but all the same fixins and stuff like that. So
I saw on Twitter I saw on Twitter today 4-hour wait at the Stop the Spread at Square One Mall.
Yeah, so I did not go to Square One. I chose a different location because I had heard that that was getting busy. But they're all busy this week. But that's good. So we were able to get somewhere. They're all busy this week. I mean, I think everybody's kind of trying to be safe, which is a good thing. Like having that the testing is a good thing. And so in other news, also I want to give a shout out to kind of all the volunteers. This is the time of year, both Thanksgiving and Christmas, where there are families in Melrose and and around our communities that need help. So I know the city put out an effort to be sure that our families in need directly in Melrose were taken care of in terms of meals for veterans and seniors in need, and as well the Melrose Together group of volunteers. There were over 80 families and volunteers in Melrose who put together meal kit bags and meals all ready to go for housing families in Malden. So that was fabulous, and all the donations. You guys know when you go to Shaw's and they ask if you want to add $1 for a family in need. All of that money actually also gets pooled into Thanksgiving dinners that were also sent over to housing families in Malden. So kudos to the Melrose community that pulled together to both take care of, and the city to take care of families for Thanksgiving in Melrose and Malden and beyond. So it's everybody gave a gobble this year.
Everybody gave a gobble, including Scott McCauley. For 35 years has been hosting free Thanksgiving dinners, and it seems like it's very tough for him this year that he cannot host. He is donating meals to dozens and dozens of people. I read about it in an article on the Today Show's website. He was featured there. It's 35th year he's doing that, and he's just a stellar Melrosian and a very generous guy trying to take care of folks at Thanksgiving. It's interesting because we had him on the show around this time last year, and it really is more about the gathering, and he wants people to have a place to go. So I think this is a tough Thanksgiving for him, but he gave out some sage advice, as is often comes from this man, which was, even if you can't be around everybody that you want to, pick up the phone and give a call and say hello and let people know you're thinking of them. He also encourages people to send him notes and to write down for themselves what they're grateful for. So these are just great exercises. And, we have the cutting edge technology to be worldwide on multiple platforms. But have you been on a good old fashioned phone call recently? Because I'll tell you, that's a lot of fun, and it is more intimate and personal than a lot of these other formats that have we've become accustomed to. It's like when everybody started wearing contact lenses and then glasses became cool again.
Did they? When did
yes,
that?
They did actually.
I was kidding. No, I actually have a friend from college. One friend from college who still about once a year calls me up out of the blue, and I will always answer that call. It's amazing. So shout out my friend Nick from college. He's very old school that way, and it's always great to get a phone call like that from an old friend. So I do appreciate that. All right, Tom, what do you think? It might be time.
Not to end the show yet.
There it is.
So in the news, we have new technology for the sound effects that I'm still learning on the show. There's always an opportunity to learn. And what's something we can learn about in the news this week, Lauren?
Something in the news.
Small Business Saturday coming up.
Yeah. What's the chamber?
That's big news for me, but I didn't know if this is big news for Let's Talk Melrose.
Chamber.
So.
It is. Oh, it totally is. That's why you're here.
Okay, good. Well, I'll definitely use the airtime then. Small Business Saturday is kind of a tradition. It's right smack in between Black Friday, which is always like that big day where you try to stand in line like a crazy person at the mall or something, and then like Cyber Monday, right? When we were all back in our offices supposed to be working, and now we were like looking for deals. So the idea with Small Business Saturday started long before the pandemic, and it's really just that. It's like, come out on that Saturday after Thanksgiving, support all of your small businesses. And I think now more than ever, this is definitely an excuse to come out and support, our businesses here in Melrose. So that's what we hope to see people doing on Saturday.
It's busy downtown. I don't know,
Yeah.
Lauren, maybe you'd have a feel for what businesses are reporting, or if there's a particular emphasis or focus or things we should keep in mind. I noticed that it seems busy downtown, and everybody's got good protocols, certainly around the foods and things. So is there any sort of emphasis, or is even downtown part of it? There are other business districts in the city.
Yeah, so it's really, I mean, we've definitely have some businesses that have said, hey, we're doing something extra special, like a discount or a gift with purchase, but my thought is like, you don't have to be doing anything special. You just have to be there and be open, but it's really about the consumer, right? So it's really a day for like a consumer to make, a targeted plan to say, okay, for these 2 hours, I'm going to go out, and I'm not just going to like hop into a store. I'm going to actually like spend some time looking around, and I'm going to discover some things, because it's easy for me or you guys to say, hey, I'm going to run downtown, get a gift card and get one item. But it's another thing to say, I'm going to go downtown, I'm going to actually spend some time, and I'm going to kind of look around. And I think people make more purchases that way. I think we've talked on the show, and I know you guys have been huge supporters of the small businesses, that the community's been coming out, but I think ahead of like the winter, ahead of any potential shutdowns that could happen early in, the next year, which we don't know about, I think we really need to, show that love and support to all of our small businesses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So,
you know what I love to do. Some of the businesses that we have. I mean, there's so many different types of businesses, right? Like some aren't as conducive to gifts and things like that as others. But one of the things I love to do, I learned this from a college friend a long time ago. I'll shop for things that are like great gifts for anyone, so that I have things, and so that if I need to go, I mean, these days we're not going to parties as much, but if I need to, if I've forgotten Tom's birthday or something, or, although that wouldn't be possible because he reminds us like year round.
yes,
but in any case,
yes.
like,
there's
but it's like
364 days of reminders in one day.
Yes.
Yes.
Right, exactly. But there's wonderful things to be had in Melrose, and I always start my holiday shopping downtown. I sort of do the kind of sweep of things that I can get that I know that are made from all of our wonderful local artists and local businesses, and then I kind of sort of fill in the wish list items from there. But I always start with downtown Melrose.
And it could be Small Business Saturday, it could be Friday, it could be Sunday,
Yeah.
and ongoing. And Jen, I like your idea, because much as I'm talking like the old school, make a phone call, like what if you package, and you're not going to parties, but what if you packaged a gift and sent it to somebody, as you thought of them or going about your business? That would be a nice surprise, something that's not from the Amazon truck. Hey, what's this business of the year thing the Patch is doing? Do you know about that?
I just saw that today. Have you heard about that, Lauren?
Yeah, I've seen that. It seems just like what you described it as, just, nominate a business that you think's gone above and beyond. I mean, we all know that, since the pandemic, so much has changed for these businesses, and they have done incredible things to keep shopping, keep dining, keep takeout really safe and convenient for everybody. So I think it's the community's way to say, hey, this is my favorite biz, and here's why, and they'll give them a big shout out on the Patch. So
yeah. Oh, that sounds cool, Lauren. I've been curious, like throughout the pandemic. I've been curious, but now kind of going to the holidays as well. There are retail and service businesses that we think of and that are kind of more front of mind, especially for something like Small Business Saturday, right? Like I can think of a handful of businesses that I'm going to go and check out and shop. What types of businesses and industries in Melrose are kind of struggling right now that aren't front of mind for us and that we aren't thinking of? And how do we help businesses like that?
Sure. So, I mean, I'll say we know, and I'm sure a handful of them. There's lots of people who sort of run a business out of their home. I'm thinking of one of my favorite businesses is the Ugly Baby Soap Company. Melanie and Steve Hamilton, they've got some great products. They have stuff online. You can also buy stuff in Hourglass, but they're usually ones that are front and center at the farmers markets, at different events. And without events, they're, struggling to reach kind of their consumers. But
go
ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm learning here. I didn't know about this business in Melrose. So there's special soap just for ugly babies?
It's for beautiful babies too. Everything is all natural. A lot of organics. It's kind of they started the business, and the name kind of came out of like a little cartoon figure that they drew. But the name it sticks, right? You're gonna remember that.
Yeah, I will remember that.
I'm definitely gonna remember that. I feel like everybody in the Catalini family and beyond is going to have ugly baby soap in their holiday stockings this year.
I would definitely get that. So I have a new, let's see, my nephew's daughter. I think I'm a granduncle, grandniece or something. She's turning 1 next week. So I hope they're not watching tonight
surprise.
I'd like to get some of the baby soap.
What about some of the businesses? I'm curious, Lauren, about sort of the state of Melrose business in general. What about things that are not like something I can buy? Like what are we worried about?
So I think that there's certainly I think we have to see more people come back towards like the personal care services, which is just they've been limited, right? I mean, hair salons and barber shops have been back open, but they were closed for so long. They still have a lot of people that aren't willing to come in. They're limited in how many people can be inside. So, it's tough to go in and like buy products or buy gifts, but, buy gift cards, help, that's a way to help them. A lot of the massage places haven't reopened, or if they have, again, extremely limited. Some people aren't comfortable. So that's another thing, buy the gift certificate, use it at another point when we
save it for later. Yeah.
When we get on the kind of other side of that. So I think of like the personal care services, and I think of all those kind of entrepreneurs who are really behind the scenes. And I think we all inherently know a handful of people kind of running those small businesses. I think we enjoyed a really great kind of summer and fall season in terms for outdoor dining. And to Tom's point earlier, like downtown especially looked busy. Lorenzo and Emily with their beautiful tent, like that was great, but we can only enjoy that for so much longer. So I think thinking about how we can continue to support, our food businesses, is really important. And really just everybody, I think, is you can make a targeted plan and a certain budget amount and just come out, especially Saturday and then all through the holiday season, and support our businesses. That's really what they need.
So when we're all hunkered down for the winter, we'll start doing takeout a lot more.
Yeah.
And the season is changing, and it's near Christmas time and home for the holidays, which we want to hear the plan on that. But also, we wanted to point out that the Melrose High Band is continuing their annual tradition of selling the Christmas trees. That's where we get our tree every year, and that's a week from Friday, I think, on December 4th. And I think this year they're raising funds for the band, but I think they're going to Hawaii, right? Where they're trying to raise the funds for a trip a year from now. I don't know if those two are tied together necessarily, but it's a great place to get to if you're going to embrace the cold in the coming season, and if you celebrate Christmas, getting the tree from the band would be a great place to do.
Absolutely, that. It's a super fun place to go get our tree. So we'll be there Friday for sure to kick that off after Thanksgiving. That's going to be after I think I watch. There's this is a terrible segue. I'm just going to put that out there right now. I'm not even going to try. This will be after I watch the Parent University College Search and Admissions Journey. I'm going to go on my college search journey. No, I'm kidding. I don't even have a college student. But if I did, there's 2 more parent universities coming up. One is they're the next 2 Mondays. So the Monday after Thanksgiving, and then on December 7th, I will probably be ready for this one: Pandemic Parenting and Coping with Parental Burnout. How about you, Lauren? You're going to hit that one?
If I'm not too burnt out by then. I'm going into double remote weeks here as part of the hybrid. I'm in remote this week and next week. So.
Oh, that's right. I kind of saw that. Yeah, exactly. And then did any of you guys, I will say I did not attend the Ask Me Anything forum with the superintendent and
I watched
mayor and Ruth Clay.
I watched a bit of that. So Ed O'Connell, the chair of the school committee, hosted a little Ask Me Anything show. He had the mayor, Ruth Clay, and Superintendent Dr. Kuchenberger on there. And it was a nice, hour and a half long. I didn't watch every minute of it, but It was a good forum, and a lot of it was COVID related in terms of the protocols. What do we do when a student tests positive? Where has there been, and I guess at the Hoover School, they did have one incident of in-classroom spread. Ruth Clay, who oversees or monitors, I think is the phrase used, our school system as well as Wakefield, said that's the only known incident of that. But a lot of people, it was a good forum for people to have very specific questions and understand what the protocols are. And they, one of the things I got, they were all pretty well in lockstep between the city and the school system, and with Ruth Clay being, I think, kind of a link between that. So it's up on YouTube. It's on the MMTV site. So if anybody does have specific questions, that would be a good place. People submitted a bunch of questions, and I think most or all of them got answered one way or another. There were common themes throughout, that people would hit. And I thought Ed did a nice job hosting that and steering that conversation. So it's worth watching if you're interested in that.
Great. Yeah. And we appreciate all of them making themselves available for something like that, to be for the community to be able to ask direct questions like that. I'm sure is helpful. So that's awesome. Another thing that's coming up in terms of like community input, there is an upcoming study. We just heard about this the other day. The future, this is going to be a big topic, I think, coming up, the future of housing in Melrose. So the city of Melrose is about to undertake a study along with MAPC, the Metropolitan Area Planning Commission in our region, about the future of housing in Melrose over the next 5 years. So this is going to be important. Obviously, there's interest in transit-oriented development in Melrose, affordable housing in Melrose, all kinds of things. There will be several opportunities for the community, for the city and MAPC. It will be seeking community input over the next several steps. The first is there's an online open house just for you to sort of at your own pace learn about the issues in Melrose housing. There we'll put a link out there, but it's from November 18th through December 13th. So there's information that you can sort of digest at your own pace. And then there's a webinar with MAPC on December 2nd from 7 to 8:30 p.m. where you can learn a little bit more about the study itself and the folks behind the study and the methodology of the study. So, and I'm literally watching our producers mess around with the show doc as we speak, probably going to tell me I got something wrong, but
so in other future oriented things that planning meetings that have happened recently, the planning board met a few days ago about this L Pond feasibility study. And I don't know, have either of you heard about that? This was the first I had heard of it, but I didn't get to watch the public participation. But I did check out the slide deck, and there's a couple of, if one of the producers is could throw up like the L Pond study first photo if they're not asleep at the switch back there. There's some long-term planning. I think this is another thing to keep an eye on how this happens. So
there it is. Look at that.
That's the area they're talking about, L Pond Park feasibility study. So you see the pond there, the high school is across the street, and you see everything from the baseball field up to the two sets of tennis courts and the cabbage patch across the street. And then, so they talked about the background of that. They did a survey of around 500 people. And the main use is that for all the fields that are there and walking, and most of the big desired improvements had to do with better drainage. I guess it gets swampy and mucky over there. So if you're trying to use the fields, that's an issue. So drainage was a big issue, more seating if you're attending any of the events, improvements to walking paths and trails and the waterfront. And there were 3 different concepts established. And if we go to the next slide, I just picked out one of them that kind of shows this a little bit. And what you can see is in all the 3, so there's just 3 concepts based on the feedback. And this is by no means final. These are conversation starters. But in all 3, they looked at artificial turf for the cabbage patch, more defined fields, for the like stalker areas and all of that. And
did you say stalker areas?
I hope not. No.
What did you say? Okay.
Dog. I don't know what I said. What I meant to say was a dog park area.
Okay.
And you know where I was getting ahead of myself, Jen, because I was going to talk about the walking paths. If you look at the little tan lines that are weaving through there underneath the trees and all that. So they had like 3 short, medium, and long routes look like defined paths around that. So, but a lot of, you can take the slide down now, but a lot of the, and we can put the link out to the show there, but a lot of it was like dealing with the drainage, artificial turf, and putting in some kind of phased plan based on the feedback and the usage of the space over there. And the walking paths, I have to say, made a lot of sense. That resonated with me. People can't stop walking in this pandemic. Hopefully that continues afterward, but it would be nice to have a little bit more space conducive to that. But what's surprising is, the cost for this stuff is hundreds of thousands into the millions. So they are really trying to put a concepts out there, settle on a general direction, then figure out how do you phase it out and establish a budget, and then how do you phase it, then how do you get the funds and make it happen. So it's both these things are good examples of long-term planning. Like sometimes you just see the results of 10 years effort, and then you like it or you want to criticize it or whatever, but there's a lot of people working over a long period of time to put these kind of master plans together for it,
right?
Whether it's housing or the Elpon Park and all of that. So,
right. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be a big, like, I want it now unveiling. I mean, the plans sound great. And it's definitely like something we can work towards. It would be, we don't have, gazillion dollars up front to just do everything we want to do, but it's great that people are thinking about this. I love the idea of more, walking areas throughout there, and sort of access to the pond would be nice. It's one of Melrose's kind of most beloved features, right? So to be able to enjoy it more would be amazing. Sounds good. What else? I think we should move into, so El Pond is a win for Melrose, I would say. See where I'm going, Tom?
Yes.
We've got it. We're almost at the end of the show. I think there's been a few more kind of recent wins, but you wanted to ask a quick question first before we get into wins.
While we have Lauren, I just wanted to find out about Home for the Holidays. Is one of my favorite traditions here in Melrose, and typically that means all the business districts are organized, the churches, community centers are making cookies, hot chocolate, whatever. There's trolleys that go around. Bill Butler and I usually host one of the trolleys.
Yeah. Tom needs to know where he can deliver his jokes. I think that's what he's asking. That's where this is going.
I can come over to your house. We can stand 6 feet apart, you, me, and Bill, and we can run through the routine. It is optimized for small audiences and short time frames. But what is happening with Home for the Holidays? I think viewers of the show would like to know what's happening this year, what the plan is.
Sure. So, I mean, some of the big things you touched upon, trolley rides. I mean, there's a lot of things that just can't happen with COVID. Right. Even, if you've been to downtown on the Friday night of Home for the Holidays, there's, a crowd of maybe 1,000, maybe more. I mean, you can't move in downtown. It's, I think, even busier than the Victorian Fair. We've got Santa that comes in on the fire
even
truck.
Santa needs security. Yeah.
Security. That's also part of my chamber job. But we kind of looked at everything, every which way, and knowing that as cases are going up and anticipating that after Thanksgiving, which is when Home for the Holidays is, that could be the potential super spreader. There was just no way that we could mimic it. And, a lot of those, you're right, the businesses, the churches, the schools, the Lincoln School, all these community organizations really want to welcome people in, but the idea of trying to do it safely and in a way that keeps themselves safe, we just went back and forth with it. So we won't, rather than trying to do a watered down Home for the Holidays or even, a virtual or something, we said like Home for the Holidays is what it is, and it's going to come back in 2021. So at least from the chamber's perspective, right after Small Business Saturday, we're going to be focusing on, we're going to call it Shop, Eat, Gift, Local Melrose. And again, it's going to really carry that support that starts on Small Business Saturday for our small businesses and our nonprofits through to the end of the year, and really focus on that in some creative ways, which I'm not ready to announce yet until after Small Business Saturday, but that's what we're going to be asking the community to focus on.
Well, thank you for the preview, and I have to say
Yeah.
I'm fully on board with that plan. It's one of my favorite events, but it's not wouldn't be responsible to do it. So I like to take a year off and extend the shop for the Saturdays, and look forward to the other announcements. And boy, when things like that come back and we're able to do that again, I've always appreciated it, but it will just mean that much more when we're back in the swing of things. That I'm probably going to be tearing up next year at home for the holidays. It's such a great event. Yeah, it's so much fun to be able to gather and do all of that.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to shopping local throughout the month of December. It would be wonderful. I haven't left I don't know that I've left the zip code in many months now. So I'm hoping to continue that theme and just get all my shopping done right here in Melrose. And in the meantime, Tom, you can be working on your joke. You have a full extra year to polish up that routine, work on your jokes. We may have someone that can help you with that. I think that there's someone in Melrose who has kind of just a little bit more expertise than you.
There's some funny people in Melrose.
So we do know, we heard one of our wins of the week. We do know our friend who was on the Dope Holiday Hullabaloo with us, Sam Rossi.
Whoa!
Is heading to the
There he is.
Hello.
Hey, Sam.
Hey,
Sam.
Does my microphone work?
It does.
Oh, thank God. I was worried about that the entire time.
Oh, no. Yeah, we can hear you. It's great.
Set.
Good to see you.
We were just about to, we haven't seen you since last year's, remember the Dope Holiday Hullabaloo?
Of course I remember that. That was a fun time.
That was a super fun time. That was awesome. But now you are on to bigger and better things. We hear that you have some news.
Yes. I think this Monday, I'm gonna be in the Boston Comedy Festival in the contest. So that's gonna be a fun time, I think.
Okay, so it's this Monday. How are they doing it? Are they doing it virtually? I assume.
Yes, they are doing it virtually.
Okay.
They're doing it online. I think it's being run. I think the people who are running it are in California right now. They're running it through a comedy club called Flappers, and but you can, if you just Google Boston Comedy Festival, you can buy tickets online.
The producers will share the link. So is this like it sounds like a fun event. Is it like a competition? Is it something like that, Sam? Or is it just a festival? Oh, okay.
Well, it's both. It's both, actually. The part I will be performing in is a competition. But, I mean, you should just go anyway. It's a great thing. There will be panels of people talking about their experiences writing for TV, performing on TV. Lots of fun panels to show up to. The thing I'm gonna be on is I'm gonna be in the competition, but it's they picked 96 comedians who sent in submissions, and what'll happen is I'm sorry, I'm blanking here. They do it in like a bracket format, and I'll be in round one. That's when my first thing will be. It'll be on Monday, contest prelim round one. If you want to buy tickets for that.
And so how do we get you kind of moved on? We get to vote, right? So we watch and vote.
Yeah, this year is actually audience votes. So what's been done previous years is they've had judges come in and do it. But since it's all online and you can't tell who's getting the biggest laughs anymore because everyone's going to have their microphones off and stuff like that.
Right.
At the end
so
of the
it's
show,
like the people's choice.
Yeah, people's choice.
Is that hard to perform comedy? I mean, isn't a lot of it kind of the live vibe? Like, have you done a lot of this virtual comedy, and how does it work? What are the pros and cons?
Well, it was certainly a process to get used to it. The pros are I don't have to leave my house anymore. That's awesome.
You don't have to wear pants.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you don't have to dress up or anything. You just do it from home. The bad news is you really can't tell how you did until the end, Because
Wow.
if you did well, they'll be like, say I did well in a show. They'll be like, wow, that was Sam Rossi. What a great set. I like that one joke about blah, blah, blah. All right, well, our next comedian is, and then they move on. But if you do poorly, what I've found is they don't really say anything. You just finish up and they're like, all right, well, moving right along, our next comedian will be, and then, so it's tough. It's hard to try out new stuff, but it's been getting better.
So you were watching the show, right? And we were talking about El Pond Park and all of that. My wife was up there by Melrose Wakefield Hospital, and she was telling me that she saw 2 EMTs walking over by the hospital. And I said, don't you mean paramedics?
Hey!
God. You can borrow that one, Sam, if you want.
I'll use that. They'll go straight to. They'll cancel the whole competition. Right
They'll just
there.
be like, mic drop. It's over. Get you.
Right, they'll cut my Zoom connection.
So you have your whole you're all prepared, I assume. I mean, it's coming right up. So. Or are you going to wait and see what happens? There's always like family folly that happens for Thanksgiving. You know, you might get some last minute material over Thanksgiving dinner. That's always a good one.
Yeah, hopefully.
Except all the drunk relatives can't come this year. So
No, we'll do a big Zoom.
Reach out to Tom if you want any help with like really, questionable dad jokes. If you need any of that in your bit, reach out to Tom. He's your guy.
Yes, I'm a collector of dad jokes. So as any of the Home for the Holidays trolley participants can attest for Bill Butler and I. But so Sam, we're just thrilled for you to do that, and we look forward to watching and supporting it on Monday night. I think that's a big win for the week for Melrose and everybody on the show. So I think it might be time. We're a little bit over, but I think it might be time to call it a wrap and dance it off. What do you think?
Yeah, it sounds great. Lauren, thanks so much for being here. We'll see you around downtown and all the businesses. Look forward to shopping. Sam, good luck. Look forward to watching on Monday.
Thank you.
All right. We'll see you around town. This
is where you have to dance, Sam.